Alrighty, so today's actually been a very productive day. So got up, did normal training like usual, and actually made some good substantial progress with trying different blends. So I started off the day with just basically trying to search and see what kind of ingredients would be good for the certain migraine and headache relief tea that I came up with. So that came from just one of the regulars at the job I have. They suffer from a lot of headaches and migraines on a regular basis. So I thought a good place to start in terms of research would be just basically actually trying to find the science behind the headaches and what kind of chemicals and imbalances and the process behind the headache being prominent in when they're actually in that state, and seeing what kind of teas and herbal remedies I could put together and what kind of infusions could actually come from what I came up with basically and the science that came with it. So I established some ingredients for that, and then because my nono actually has past experience with a lot of herbal gardening and he does it still to this day, I actually went over there just to get a bit of an understanding of how to actually dry out some herbs. So a lot of very interesting things and a lot of things I learned. So I've got a few herbs hanging up now to dry, which I can't really show because they're not here. And then along with that, I've actually oiled and done a lot of oil infusions and jarred a lot of herbs. So not here, but no, hang on, I can't show it. Never mind. In one of the cupboards in my house, in this kitchen area, there's a little compartment kept in a cool and dark area where I've kept all my tea stuff. So I've got about 3 or 4 different jars of different herbs at the moment. And so that consists of rosemary, mint leaves, ginger, which I recently did like tonight, and then orange skins. So that's gonna actually stay like that over the next few weeks. And so what that's going to do is actually make sure that all the nutrients from the herbs or the orange peels, for example, is actually going to get extracted from the oil. And so those are the nutrients and minerals that won't get extracted from just boiling in hot water like a normal tea. So what that's going to produce is pretty much oil extracts, which you can get from the shops, and usually they're quite expensive. So this is going to be a heaps cheaper way, and this is also going to be a way that I'm able to add some additional value to my teas and my blends by ridiculously cutting the cost of making these infusions myself. And so then that way, making everything myself is going to not only be cheaper, but it's going to allow me to cut the prices down for stuff like herbal teas and still be able to make it a successful business model. So with that said, I was able to test out a few of the things, like I got a mortar and pestle, so I was able to test that out today with the tea that I made, and that was incredibly good. So much better than just beating it with a mallet. So, one of the steel mallets where you just beat on the chopping board, it's heaps easier, not as messy, and just gets the job done much faster. So along with that, a lot of practical stuff has been done today, and with everything with making the oil infusions and also drying the herbs out, you want to make sure that you're keeping track and labeling everything. So that's something that I did, making sure that I wrote everything on the lids, and then also logging everything that I'm doing and actually putting corresponding dates to when everything's being done and then when it's actually going to be ready. So I've put together a little couple pages aside of just some few columns of herb name, when it's been jarred or dried, and then when it's going to be ready. So usually with oil infusions and even stuff like alcohol infusions called tinctures, that stuff usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. 4 weeks minimum. Usually you want to leave it to 6 or more, just to be able to make sure that you extract as much as you can, and the oil usually gets quite potent. So whereas stuff like drying your herbs out really depends on the weather and also how moist the herbs are when you actually cut them and bundle them up. But usually it takes about a week or two, sometimes less when it's really hot and sunny. But the key thing here is making sure you're tracking everything and getting in the habit of labeling everything. So that way everything's organized and you sort of really have a good time span of what you're dealing with in most things. Now, I actually went out and picked out all the ingredients for the migraine and headache relief tea, put them all together and actually made my first blend. So I don't think I'll add a picture to this video just because I honestly couldn't be fucked editing it, and it's not really one of those kind of videos that show you everything. This is just more of a journal thing. but I'm sure as this business grows, you'll be able to see pictures of it visually in the future. But basically, all the materials got put together, let it sit under warm water for a while. Now, it was left as a free leaf tea, so I don't use bag tea just because I've got a filtered straw, just so I can drink straight from the hot water cup that's actually extracting from, just so that avoids actually losing any potential goodness, and it lets it brew in there for as long as possible while I'm drinking it. It's actually really useful, and it's heaps cooler, and it looks sick as well. Most people will stick to the bag. So in relation to tea bags as well, I'm actually looking to get some completely plastic-free, bleach-free, disposable tea bags. So I ordered a few of them today just so I can start preparing for actually putting together some samples, and so I can start giving them out and seeing what they're like. But I tried the headache one tonight and it tasted awesome. It changed the flavour as you gradually went down, which I thought was quite interesting. And plus it has so much goodness, and you could actually tell, not that I had a headache, but you can tell that you actually feel a bit more switched on, and it was just, you felt more alert and a lot more clear of mind, which I think could be an immense help for not only just headaches, but heaps of other brain fog ideas, or maybe even just remembering stuff like memory, and even for dementia as well, which is a potential. So with that said, I think that's a pretty good start for today. Once again, I've written all that down, I've put the recipe down and I've logged it. So now I'm just doing a bit of reading, starting a new book today. So not going to be too much research later on today. But with that said, tomorrow I'm probably going to spend a bit more time putting together some other infusions and mixing some elixirs or potions, whatever you want to call them. I think it's a cool way of describing it rather than just a tea. And then see if I can actually maybe jar some more oils up, just so then that way when business starts going, rather than actually purchasing all these extracts, I'm actually able to just have all of them here at my house. And so then I don't really have to worry about spending too much from the get-go. So that's going to be a huge one, but I'll leave that there for today, and just so there's actually some more to talk about tomorrow. But I'm sure I'll make some more progress tomorrow. We'll see how we go.